Gotcha.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another weapon comparison in Monster Hunter World. This is Thegameconomist, and today we're going to be comparing the Lance and the Longsword, two weapons that are especially known for counterattacking monsters. It's going to be hard to show you the counterattack in the training room, so we'll definitely be showing off the counterattacks in actual fights against the monsters. Alright, so first of all, we'll talk a little bit about the Lance. So the Lance is a weapon that comes with a shield, and when you draw it, has a little bit of a longer sheath time, but probably the worst part about the Lance, as well as the gun lance, is the walking penalty. Similar to the heavy bowgun that we saw before, this weapon does not allow you to strafe quickly. You're just going to be moving slow, see? The longsword's going to be moving faster. You also have a slower sheath time, right? So it takes you longer to get into the dive evade if you had to use a dive evade for some reason. So that's a penalty as well. Usually you can just guard the monster, but let's say you only have a little bit of health left and you can't afford to guard a move that's going to deal some chip damage. We saw this as a big problem with Arch-Tempered Nergigante in the base game. Well, it takes a while to sheath and you might be dead by then. So that's one of the penalties for the Lance. I do remember hearing, somebody told me that the Power Guard, let me show you Power Guard here, the Power Guard now comes up with the guard up skill. I haven't tested that myself. Let me just say that. Maybe somebody in the comment section can confirm if that's true. But here's one of the problems I ran into with the Lance when you compare it to the Longsword. Primarily, it's the skills. Check this out. On the Lance, you're going to build 3 levels of offensive guard. Now that is going to give you more damage. Hold on. That's guard. Offensive guard temporarily increases attack power after executing a perfectly timed guard. So whopping 15% more attack power, which is really nice. But you had to build it. It actually takes up slots on your build. The next thing is you had to build this skill called Guard. So Guard reduces the amount of impact, or another word for that would be knockback, that you're getting. It also reduces the amount of stamina that you're using to guard, which is really important if you're fighting an actual difficult monster. Difficult monsters tend to use up a lot of your stamina. And then finally, Guard Up. There's a lot of moves that you can't guard normally. You have to have this skill, which is just nuts. So if you were fighting the behemoth and he tries to body slam you and you didn't have guard up, he would just body slam you. That's it for you. Bad luck for you, right? So the Lance has to build all those skills and the Longsword doesn't. I feel like that's one of the major differences between these weapons and probably one of the main reasons that the Lance is held back when you compare it to the Longsword. Let's talk a little bit about the moveset though. One of my jobs here is to inspire you to try these weapons out, and it helps. Trying the weapon out helps if you understand what you're meant to be doing. So with the Longsword, you've got the triple high thrust. This is what most people use as an attack. 1, 2, 3. Then you can back hop and just do it again. It's a very low commitment move, actually. It means that at any point you can kind of break out of it without, waiting for a long animation recover, or there's no long wind up to it either. It's just very fast, very pokey. It's got good reach too. Reaches so well that you might even hit a part of the monster's body you didn't intend to, and be deflected off of that body part. Like if you accidentally hit the behemoth in the tummy, your weapon would deflect really hard, and it forced you to bring Mind's Eye almost. You can even reflect off his horns if you didn't have enough sharpness. You have the mid thrust. This is better for if the monster's on the ground, right? So if the monster's on the ground, you mid thrust. And the question is, how do you combo well with this weapon? Well, you would triple high thrust, and then you'd use a dash attack. And you'd finish it right away. So it's dash attack, finishing thrust. Okay, so it's triple high thrust, 2, 3, dash attack, right into triple high thrust. And you just rinse and repeat. The other thing you can do, of course, for more damage is if you don't feel like you're going to have time to do that finishing thrust from the dash attack, you would triple high thrust, and then you'd use a canceled thrust. So that's a canceled counterattack is what that is. We got to talk about the counterattack. That's the main thing that the Longsword and the Lance are built around, is countering monsters, right? You actually punish a monster for attacking you, and the Lance actually does it better than the Longsword. That's because it's easier to do it on the Lance. Especially now. The Longsword's been nerfed, right? So the Longsword received a nerf for the Foresight Slash. Foresight Slash is the counterattack on the Longsword, and the timing for it got a lot more difficult, and the reach of the move was nerfed as well. It doesn't have as much reach, and this changes a lot of things for the Longsword. Still a really powerful weapon, but it actually puts it closer in par to the Lance, believe it or not. So check this out. Triple high thrust, counterattack. The monster tries to attack you. Boom. You punish the monster for that. Now, let's say you got the timing on the counterattack wrong on the lance. Well, if you got it wrong on the longsword, you'd be in a lot of trouble, right? Because the monster's attack is incoming. So if you got the timing wrong on your foresight slash on the longsword, you get smacked by the monster, and now you're in a really just bad situation where you're trying to recover, you're trying to heal yourself. The lance is not like that. If you time the counterattack wrong, you just go into the power guard. Let me show you. So you hold this, we're guarding, counterattack, power guard. See? So you can actually delay it. Counterattack, power guard. Oops. Tell you what, do we have a I want to eat something to have more stamina. The stamina is going to help demonstrate this weapon better. I'm sure we do. Let's grab a well done steak. I haven't eaten a meal at the canteen. That's why I don't have so much stamina here. But normally you would have eaten a meal, so you would have more stamina. Alright. So check this out. Counterattack. Power guard. Oh, that's much better. And then boom, you throw the move behind you. Because you can do that in the power guard. You can throw the attack behind you. Can you do that in the counter? Hold on, let me see if... Yeah, so when you're in the regular counterattack, you can't turn around. But when you go into the power guard, you can. So, counterattack, power guard, bam! You stab him from behind. Right? He jumps behind you, it doesn't matter. Another nice thing about the power guard is you can chain it into other moves rather than the counterattack. So check it out. Counterattack, power guard, leaping thrust to the left. Counterattack, power guard, dash to the right. Shazam. So that's basically what the lance is doing really well. It's a low commitment weapon. It pokes really well. You can guard with it. You can guard moves that are actually hard to block or hard to iframe through, hard to foresight slash through. If you make a mistake on your timing, you can just go into the power guard, so it's more forgiving when you're counterattacking. It actually has decent maneuverability. So unlike the gun lance, I think the gun lance technically has the worst movement in the whole of all 14 weapons. I think the gun lance technically has the worst. And the lance, you know, I would still say it's lower down the list because you don't have a regular roll. You've got this goofy little hop, right? But you do have this. Look, you have the guard dash. See, that's the guard dash. This is where you advance on the monster while guarding. That's nice. You can turn that into an even further reaching move. So you would go guard dash leaping thrust, guard dash leaping thrust. All right, that's pretty cool. Or you can go into the dash attack, which really starts to cover a lot of ground. Another interesting thing about the finishing thrust that you use at the end of your dash actually gets stronger if you had to travel a long distance. So you'll notice it starts out as finishing thrust, but then it turns into finishing twin thrust. Yeah. Boom. But yeah, so my point was the lance actually does have some fairly good maneuverability, especially for a slow walking weapon. But that doesn't necessarily make up for its lack of normal rolls. See, here's a normal roll. See, even the charge blade gets this roll, you know? Charge blade gets it. Sword and shield certainly gets it. But really what it's doing best is counterattack and power guard. Bam! Let's grab the longsword and talk a little bit about it. So when we first started talking about the lance, one of the things I pointed out is that you have to build all these goofy skills so that your shield works. That's not true for the longsword. Check it out. On the longsword, we're going to have extra skills like attack, boost, and agitator. You know why? We don't need guard up. We don't need offensive guard. And we don't need regular guard either. That's like 3 skills. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of extra damage that you get to put on this weapon. One of the funny things you'll find when you compare these two weapons is that the longsword actually has very similar approaches. So you're going to go with the step slash, overhead slash, thrust, rising slash. What does that remind you of? It's actually quite similar to the triple thrust on the lance that we were just showing you. So it's just this very narrow hitbox that's very vertical. It has good upper reach, and that's it. The fade slash. Check this move out. Fade slash. That's horizontal, right? Fade slash is horizontal. The lance actually has that. I didn't show you. Here, I'll show you real fast. Alright, so I didn't get to show you this. Check this out. The wide sweep on the lance. Oh, look at that. It's actually very similar to the lance. Oh, very similar. What does that look like? Alright, let's jump back to the longsword. Yeah, so the moveset's surprisingly similar. The biggest difference between the two is that one has a shield and the other doesn't. And the lance is actually better at its counterattacks. They're easier to use, but the longsword has this whole setup with the spirit blade and helm breaker, right? So let's talk about helm breaker. You're going to fill your spirit gauge up. That's that sword in the upper left-hand corner under your sharpness bar. And once it's full, you're going to go into your spirit blade combo. And spirit blade combo is really uncomplicated. It's just right trigger. Oh, can't believe we just missed that on the training pole. They really nerfed the reach of that. It used to be much higher. Yeah, they nerfed this weapon for Iceborne, and I really felt like that was needed. Really felt like that was needed. Okay, so you can see we reached the next spirit gauge level. We're like at level 1, basically. 1, 2, 3. Okay, go into the spirit blade combo. We're at level 2. And we just do it again. The lance doesn't do this. The lance just is a low commitment weapon where you just poke it over and over again. But the longsword, you really are trying to execute these combos so that you can reach level 3, right? So you've got level 3 spirit gauge, and your helm breaker is going to do tons of damage now. Alright, so you're a happy time now because you're all built up with the longsword. Lance doesn't worry about any of that. It just plays to its best ability in whichever scenario it's in. But the longsword, you're committing to these long combinations in order to reach Spirit Blade 3 and maintain Spirit... is it called Spirit Blade 3? Or is it called Spirit Gauge 3? You guys tell me. And then, of course, when the monster's knocked down, you're looking to use your helm breaker. I want to call it splitter. Helm breaker. Spirit helm breaker. You jump up in the air, you come down. You've probably seen that a lot. And it just does a huge chunk of damage. And it's a really powerful move that you can use on a monster that's incapacitated. You can use it on a monster who's freely moving around, but your risks go up substantially. The monster might move out of the way of the move before it finishes, or it might attack you while you're in the air. So it's usually better to use it on a monster who's already been knocked over, or maybe they're exhausted, maybe they're drooling, maybe they're paralyzed, right? Something like that. Let's just build this back up real fast. All right. One of the things we didn't talk about on the lance now has the counter claw. We'll go ahead, we'll cover the counter claw. The problem is we can't show the counter claw in the room because it only works when you're being attacked. All right, and the other thing, of course, right, I should show you this as well. The EI Spirit Slash, it also works as a counterattack. So the longsword now has 2 counterattacks. So here it is, EI Spirit Slash. When you time it correctly, it doesn't consume your spirit gauge. It doesn't consume your spirit gauge level. Alright, so you can see it's more mobile, it cheats quickly, it has this whole bit where you're trying to charge up the spirit gauge to a higher level. It has this combination with the spirit blade combo where you can't be interrupted even. It's got like flinch free built in, isn't that unfair? Yeah, the longsword gets flinch free on the spirit blade combo. Why should it be allowed to have that? I feel like the developers were just like, this is too fun. If we don't include this, then... Right, but I don't feel like it's deserved. I feel like the longsword should have to build for that. Don't you agree? Longsword should have to build for flinch free. It doesn't make sense that it gives... Even the hammer doesn't get flinch free for free. If you're going to use Big Bang on the hammer, you better be bringing flinch free with you or your teammates are going to interrupt you. Usually, a longsword player is interrupting you, ironically. So Capcom just sprinkles the favor down on the longsword, I feel like. A little favoritism, I suspect. It's a little too strong sometimes. The nerfs to the weapon don't even make it feel too nerfed. You can feel them, but it's still insanely good. You're gonna be like, what are you doing? Ooh, that's a fast roar, dude. I don't think I noticed that before. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got thrown off. Oh, man. We'll use the Rocksteady. So one of the things about Iceborne is your Clutch Claw matters a whole bunch. You're going to be using that a lot. Oh no. Oh no, I ran out of stamina. Derp, that's a big mistake. Yeah. You watch people get really good runs and you don't realize how many times they had to practice to get that perfect run. Please let me throw you into this wall. Yes. We haven't softened his parts, so that is a concern. Okay, he's now angry. We're going to build up to Spirit Blade 3. That's our goal. Alright, That was the foresight slash right there, and you can see it took me to the next level on my spirit gauge. It took me to level 2. Oh, he's looking at my cat now. Don't do it. Okay, so he's drooling. We're going to go in for the helm breaker. Rocksteady will break any minute. Oh, we knocked him over. Nice. Our damage must be really good. We can't wait. We're going to go ahead and use EI slash. Oh, that was poorly aimed. Here's our temporal mantle now. We should try to soften him up a little bit. What do you guys think? We have our temporal mantle on. Oh, no, frick that. I'm going for the kill. Gotta take what you get. Two, three, four. Gonna get me? No, we're gonna EI slash. You can't wait too long because you'll fall out of that pose if you do. My cat's right next to me, so they're... Oh, we missed that helm breaker. That's really sad. We just missed out on a lot of damage there. He's ready to be thrown into a wall again. We just need any pod from him right now. Oh, look at that. We got slinger bombs. So we just stunned him with the slinger bomb. Wait, that's not his head. Oh, come on. Hold still. Oh, Jesus. I'm telling you, it's tough. When you have a weapon that has to attack twice with the claw, it's really going to take you much longer, isn't it? Okay, he's exhausted. He's drooling. This is normally when you'd get your claw attacks in. Come on, buddy. Oh, that was a waste. Oh, and there goes Temporal Mantle. Oh, and he got us, actually. Alright, I'm playing it kind of risky. We're half dead. He's mad. I probably should have thrown him into a wall already. See, he became enraged because I waited too long. Take this off real fast. Come on, you son of a bleeblop. I want to aim for the head as much as we can. We're getting more damage on the head. There's Foresight Slash, but it didn't matter. We didn't get to finish it. We did get the iframe through his attack, but we didn't get the follow-up attacks. So he didn't get all the benefits of it. There's another one. And unfortunately, even though once again we got the iframes right, we did not actually land the attack on him. So you have to time it right, and the move has to land. Isn't that sad? And it used to be much easier to do that. See, in the base game, you just had really crazy good reach with that Foresight Slash, but now in Iceborne, it's actually much closer. Which I suppose is good. Like I said, Longsword was already really strong. The fact that it takes more skill, I think, is a good thing. I think it'll help players who love this weapon love it more because they'll feel more like they didn't just defeat the monster quickly because the weapon's too strong. They'll feel more like they defeated the monster because they're good at the weapon. Oh, man. No, man. I wanted to use my claw attack, but it's like thinking that I wanted to combo. Oh, God. Oh, no, this is going to be bad. Oh, it wasn't actually. That's interesting. So we're at Spirit Blade 3, and what we need to do is get a Helm Splitter on his head. That would be perfect. Oh, don't mind that. There's an alarm going off in the background. Oh, darn. I should have waited a little longer. Alright, it looks like we're going to have to play this without actually... Be exhausted. Oh, and we missed the tail too. Alright, here we go. Here's this Helm Splitter. Oh, missed. Oh, it's so sad. Looks like the Dragonator's ready. Well, let's go ahead and get some more damage on this guy with the Dragonator. No problem. There we go. Think he's close to dying? He should be close to dying. The head's softened now. He's been knocked down. Now would be the perfect time to have level 3 spirit gauge. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, he's in trouble. Oh, he's in trouble. Darn it. He fell backwards away from my attack, so I didn't get to finish. He's exhausted now, which is different from the drooling. What? Went right over his, right under his head. There we go. Oh, we're gonna land that. Ah, darn it. If only he had looked at. Oh, and we get hit by the tail. He's got to be close to dying. Beating up on him for a while there. Let's claw him into the. Oh my god! Just in time for him to get mad. Look at these little attacks he uses. That's a Devil Joe attack. I recognize that. He's gone. So he really didn't have much health left. Let's bring these rocks down. Alright, yeah, so my impressions of the Longsword from the base game into Iceborne is the EI slash is really nice. EI Spirit Slash is difficult, is a new counterattack, but is powerful, and if you can get it right, it's kind of like a high risk, high reward move. And then the Foresight Slash on the Longsword has definitely been nerfed really strongly, and even the Roundhouse Slash, which is the last part of your Spirit Blade combo, that's been nerfed a little bit as well. It's really obvious that's been nerfed. So the Longsword's still feeling really powerful though. That's the impression I get. It's feeling really good, like it's always felt. And the, you know, the EI Slash and Spirit Slash, it's like one of the coolest moves they added in Iceborne. Dang, that's cool, right? That's cool, right? Like it's straight out of an anime. Alright, here we are. We're going to have to eat a quick meal. And I feel like the Lance and the Longsword, to Capcom's credit, they are closer than they used to be. I think that the Lance was actually further behind the Longsword than in the base game. It was much further behind, but a lot of that was just because the Longsword was too powerful of a counterattacking weapon. The question I have is, will the Lance end up feeling stronger than the Longsword in any regards? And that's a pretty large question. So having a shield versus Diablos is always nice. You roaring at me? Already roaring at me. Amazing. Alright, what are you doing? And I instantly get thrown into that. What am I doing with myself here? Can we drop these rocks on him, by the way? Yes. Probably shouldn't be attacking his horns. Too late. So, a big difference right there between the Lance and the Longsword. The Lance is actually getting one-shot softening of the hide. Oh, see, we just guarded that. There's the offensive guard. Just looking at my cat. Oh, this is a tall Diablos. Alright, and there's our counter guard as well. So that's the counter claw, I mean. So the counter claw is really good when you're fighting a monster that mostly has physical moves, and that would include Diablos and Black Diablos. The counter claw is actually doing really well. Not all monsters are like that though, and I actually think it would be fine. It wouldn't be OP if the counter claw just worked on all attacks, including elemental attacks. Or maybe if there was like a decoration that would make it so that it would function that way. See, I don't think that would be breaking the bank. So we don't know when he'll pop out of the ground, but we want to punish him, right? You just power guard. Yeah, you just power guard. It's not a big deal. He busted out of the ground, and we got the counter claw off on him. You'll notice, though, dang, we took a lot of chip from that. Oh, I'm in trouble. Ooh, that longer sheep time made it so that it was more dangerous to try and get my dive evade out. Let's go ahead and start using our mantles at this point. Oh, hold on. He's moving around so much, dude. And you can see every time we guard, we actually just take a little bit of chip damage too. That's an issue the Longsword doesn't have to deal with as much. So the Longsword has better maneuverability in the first place, so in a lot of cases, it can simply just strafe out of the range of Diablos' attacks. Now that's not true with the dig attack. The dig attack's actually much harder to strafe, which is, again, one of the reasons why having a shield is so nice for this particular fight. You can just kind of stand your ground and do a lot more damage. The funny thing is, though, if you get really good at the counterattacks, really good at the foresight slash, and you get really good, is that going to hit me? Yes, it is. If you get really good with that, you don't end up feeling like you need a shield anyways. Oh, temporal mantle's broken. We're going to go over to the rocksteady mantle. Okay, you can see how fast I was actually able to go into the guard there, and that was because, like I said before, the counter guard actually has very few startup frames. You can just go right into it right away. We're just punishing that move. Come on. Oh, God damn it. Oh, he was going for my cat there. Part's broken. Ooh, part's broken. He's taking a lot of damage. Oh, apparently we were facing the wrong direction. What do you guys think of that? Stab him in the head here. Boop. So if we had health regen, that would be really nice. We do not have that augmentation on this lance yet. You can see we can actually just guard if we don't want to take chip so much. Yeah, so you can just guard like normal. You get the chip when you counter guard, and when you power guard. It's when you do those that you really take chip damage. He is just all over the place. Rocksteady Mantle's dead. No problem. He's going after my cat there. He just can't get me. Two, three. Is that triple high thrust? Smacking him in the nutsack. Oh, we tried to counter claw, but he didn't actually hit us there. And there's the counter claw. So we can counter claw all day if we really wanted. Oh, we didn't stick the landing. Nice damage there, right? Oops. He missed me. He's going back underground. Dang, look at that hip check, man. That was some pretty heavy range. He's drooling. We can go ahead and soften his face up. Alright, and you'll notice I just don't seem as troubled with this fight. It's actually really easy. Oops. I say that just as I take a big smack, but that's because I couldn't see what he was doing. We couldn't see what he was doing. No trouble at all. I take another smack. I better shut up. I'm going to get myself killed here. I think he's ready for the Dragonator. What do you guys think? Don't dig. Woo! Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I'm a good boy. Don't do it. He's hurt. 2, 3. There's a dash attack. 1, 2, 3. Here's a dash attack. 1, 2, 3. Here's another dash attack. Ooh, there we go. There's some damage. Finally. Oh, I lived. I'm the boy who lived. Go for my cat. Oh. Oh, he wasn't going for my cat though, was he? He was not going. That's what I get for not trying to heal earlier, huh? I could have died there. Play with fire, get burned. Here he comes. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use the Clutch Claw on him. That's the counter claw. And we could be doing that all day for our friends, really. Let's go ahead and put on our Temporal Mantle. So already my impression of the lance is, even though it's easier than the longsword because of its, honestly, its superior counterattacks, it's not really getting the same damage as the longsword. And I think that a major part of that is because that longsword build, as you recall, he was running like Agitator 5, Agitator 4 and Attack Boost 5. He was running all these damage skills, and it's funny because the longsword didn't even have as many softened parts throughout the fight. Come on, there we go. There he is, he's gone. So the longsword fight was done in 8 minutes, and this one was done in 9 minutes. Both pretty long, actually. Maybe I need practice. Yeah, so my impression of it is the counter claw is nice for physical attack monsters. Not all monsters are going to be Diablos. The shield is also nice for counteracting Diablos' dig. Not all monsters have Diablos' dig. And then it definitely felt like there was a distinct lack of damage output. And I blame that on the fact that on the longsword, you have all these extra slots, whereas on the lance, you have to build guard, you have to build offensive guard if you want that bonus damage from the offensive guard, which if you're not taking that, you're really, if you think about it, you're losing a lot of damage. And then the guard up skill as well. So it's just kind of like you have all these extra skills to be building on the lance that you just don't have to build on the longsword. You just kind of go straight for damage. And then the longsword's helm splitter is actually really damaging as well. The helm splitter just does tons of damage. First you've got the spirit blade, where it can't be interrupted because it has mind's eye and it has the flinch free, and then you go into that helm splitter and it's just tons of damage. Now that we're here, I suppose I should share my final remarks for the lance and the longsword. And the main thing when we play them, when we talk about them, I mentioned just after we finished the fight that you find yourself building skills on the lance that you wouldn't have to build on the longsword. And also primarily one of the main damage sources for the longsword is the fact that it's moving into that helm splitter. And the helm splitter is just real good. And the EI slash and the EI spirit slash are good as well. Those were two really powerful improvements for the longsword's combo, because you're just going to move into that and then just go right into Spirit Blade again. The Spirit Blade combo with the Mind's Eye, built-in Mind's Eye. Why doesn't the lance have a move that has built-in Mind's Eye? Somebody explain that. Well, I suppose actually the counter thrust does have Mind's Eye, but that's it. The counter thrust, I timed it. It doesn't really have that much damage, the counter thrust on the lance, whereas the Spirit Blade combo does plenty of damage. Yeah. So just comparing those two setups, you would hope that the lance received a little more than just the counter claw. I like the counter claw, but keep in mind it's not working on elemental attacks. And then even when it is working, what are you really doing? You're softening the monster's body part quickly, just one body part. And you have teammates that can do that if you're playing in multiplayer for the longsword anyways. And we finished that fight versus... Who was it we were fighting? We finished the fight versus Anjanath pretty quickly anyways, despite not really keeping him softened most of the time. So it's nice having that, but it's also nice actually having Agitator 4 on your build and a terrifically powerful combo like Spirit Blade into Helmbreaker. So those are the main differences I see between these two weapons. I think that Capcom intended for the Lance to have slightly less damage, and the reasoning for that is probably because you have the ability to guard. But having played this game for a very long time, I think that the ability to guard a monster's move isn't quite as necessary if you're walking fast anyways. So the longsword doesn't really have to guard moves, it just strafes. And the lance can't strafe, it has a very slow walking speed. And this is why I feel that Capcom should consider just putting the guard up skill and maybe even some guard skill into the lance shield and into the gun lance shield, because they're getting punished too hard in my opinion. They're getting punished too hard. The slow walking speed's very annoying. You've got the hop rather than the roll. Yeah, I think those things are all in combination holding the lance back a little bit. And I think it should maintain the slow walking speed, because I feel like the hop and the slow walking speed are really characteristic of how the weapon feels, which is why you should consider moving guard up and guard into the shield, because that doesn't affect how the weapon feels. In fact, maybe it makes it feel better because you're like, wow, this is a powerful shield and I don't even have to build anything for it, right? Whereas the longsword is going to go off and continue to feel powerful because of Helmbreaker, I should say. All right, so that's my summary. That's my impression of the two weapons. Let me know if you like this video. It's probably a little bit longer than the previous weapon comparison video where we did light bowgun and heavy bowgun, and that's because we actually took both weapons out for a spin. If you like that though, we'll do that on the next one as well. Let's go ahead and get the outro, give you guys the wave. Alright, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.